Welcome in, everybody, to Big 12 football and beyond. I am Chris Landry as we join you here on the Landry Football Podcast Network. I'd like to ask for you to subscribe, like, and share the Landry Football Podcast Network, as well as Big 12 football and beyond, and off the Hook Sports YouTube channel. We've got some interesting matchups headlined by TCU Kansas. Now, you knew that was going to be the game this week, right? Folks, it is. It is the biggest game of that weekend. We're going to get into that. Well, we're going to talk about Texas, Oklahoma. Texas is not out of it. They're 3-2, one loss in the league. Oklahoma with two losses in the league now. Um, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Cowboys look like the best team in the Big 12. How good is this going to be a factor? Another sneaky good game. Kansas State going to Iowa State. Going to be fun as well. So, really interesting to kind of break down these matchups, where these teams are, and kind of where they're headed. I want to remind you that you can get detailed film room analysis of all of these games, as well as all the games around college football, the NFL, over at LandryFootball.com. So make sure that you take advantage of our football season sale today. Great opportunity to get scouting and coaching analysis from inside the film room for less than a magazine subscription. So you're definitely armed with the best football information and analysis out there. Well, it is going to be the feature matchup in David Booth Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas. The 5-0 Kansas Jayhawks and the TCU Horned Frogs 4-0. It's the early game on FS1. Kansas has been the story. It's maybe been the story of college football, with the Alabamas and the Georgias and Ohio State not playing all that well. Ohio State maybe not playing the competition, and then who's really good? It's about Cinderella and who's the surprise. I think it's definitely Kansas, and they're kind of the story, definitely, of the Big 12. But TCU has looked better on tape, folks. They look like the better team here, and in fact, by a wide margin better than Kansas. And it'll be interesting to see how TCU handles going on the road here, how competitive this game will be. TCU's offense rolled over Oklahoma. And I know Oklahoma can't play defense, this and that. Look, TCU had the ball and kept Oklahoma's defense on the field. They controlled this game. They dominated. Kansas hasn't dominated. They've won. TCU's looked dominant. The running game is averaging 7 yards a pop, and they look like a more balanced Tennessee. TCU can run the football, throw it, and dominate and explode on you even better than Tennessee can. They run the football better than Tennessee. The offense really was impressive and has been impressive. There were too many penalties in the win over SMU. 10 was way much, but that's not the biggest issue. They had one fumble against Arlington State, and that was the only turnover thus far. The special teams have been really good. Kansas is going to have to be really clean and really good. And I know people are saying, "Oh, yeah, but you didn't expect them to be 5-0." No, I didn't. But I'm going to be more surprised if they're 6-0. It's been about their ability to beat Iowa State. Kind of showed that it's a little bit of a magical year for them. They did not play Iowa State. Iowa State made a lot of mistakes late, but they won it. They deserve to be 5-0. They started out well with a balanced offense, and we're just doing about everything right. But the defense struggled with West Virginia and Duke throwing well, and the Houston running game also doing enough to keep it close for a while. Iowa State played is not overly talented, but played neck to neck with them. Houston's more talented than Kansas, and were poorly coached and prepared. I think that West Virginia's got more talented. Again, bigger problems there. Duke was kind of in line with where Kansas is. So Iowa State was stuffed for just 26 yards, but the defense held firm again, and the Jayhawks showed that they were adaptable enough to win, quote unquote, ugly. It's not just about their offense. So the offensive line has been terrific. Jalen Daniels has been really good. He's been given time to work. There haven't been enough mistakes here with just 2 turnovers after the opener against the Tennessee Tech. They've protected the football. It's going to be a lot of fun. Game day is going to be there. The focus is going to be on Lawrence, and I'm excited about that. It's a massive showdown. It's something they can sell. What you hope for Kansas is they can hold on to Lance Leipold, who may have a chance to go to Wisconsin, will likely have a chance to go to Nebraska if he wants to. How does he feel about this? So, look, if you're buying into Kansas, which I think they deserve to get all the credit in the world, do it at your own risk. TCU's playing really good ball. It's not going to screw up to give the Jayhawks a bunch of breaks. The run defense will hold up. The offense will run enough to control the clock and tempo. TCU's a 7-point favorite. I think they win. I think they wouldn't go on away because I think they're that much better. I don't think Kansas can beat TCU. I think TCU has to mistake their way to give Kansas a chance. That's kind of how I see it, quite frankly, in this game, folks. Texas and Oklahoma, what to make of this matchup, the Red River rivalry game in the Cotton Bowl. Boy, what a wet blanket this is. Losing to Alabama is fine. Had they beaten Texas Tech, Texas would be 4-1, not 3-2. Oklahoma losing back-to-back games, ugly games. TCU last week, obviously Kansas State, running through their defense. It was not just that they're 3-2, a disappointing 3-2, a bad-looking 3-2. A defense is on the field way too much. You just wonder, is this game just about pride? Because you get the feeling neither one of these teams are going to be in a Big 12 race. Although with a win, Texas is certainly statistically going to be in it. So Dylan Gabriel's questionable, and at the very best, after suffering a concussion. And I think this is going to be difficult because for the offense to not be able to stay on the field, and they couldn't against TCU, their defense was on the field too many snaps. And your defense may not have played well. The defense played too much. That combination is bad. And I don't think Oklahoma can get enough going offensively. The running game's still pretty good. It struggled against TCU. But the overall rotation of the backs is working pretty well. The offensive line's pretty good. The Texas defense struggled against Alabama's ground game. Longhorns are not taking the ball away. I think there's a chance to move the football. Is Quinn Ewers going to play? I think that Oklahoma probably going to have to play Davis Bevel and may give General Booty. That is a name, by the way. General Booty is the junior college transfer, some practice time. But Texas is hoping to get Ewers back. The best player on the field is going to be B. John Robinson. And the Oklahoma defensive front can get behind the line, but it's been miserable against the run. We know Kansas State, what type of runs affected them. TCU ripped off yards. Look for Texas to run effectively. The quarterback did the most damage with the run. Dugan ran it well. We know Adrian Martinez did. But B. John Robinson's going to run. He's going to hit the 100-yard plus mark. I think Texas makes a statement here with a win. It's not going to be as much of a statement since Oklahoma will now have 3 games in which their defense will struggle. So I think Texas, this is a game that Texas needs. You've got to catch a bleeding Oklahoma at this point. I think that Oklahoma can kind of, at this point, make a statement with Brent Venables. But I think in the first year, it's going to be about getting the offense back on track so that we can give our defense a chance to be successful. And let's try to change the culture of how we recruit and play defense. That's going to be the mission of Oklahoma. But tend to like Texas in this game. I'll go into more details why on LandryFootball.com. Texas Tech goes to Oklahoma State, Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. The Tech passing game has been really good. It's different than the Texas Tech offense you might be used to, but the offense is throwing for really a good amount of yards, 362 per game. Should be able to keep pace. Oklahoma State might be rolling, but it struggled late against Central Michigan's passing attack. That was the first game of the year. The yards will be there. I think Donovan Smith is playing well enough to hit the 300-yard mark again. The Red Raider defense is pretty good on third downs. It's been disruptive enough to stall NC State and to keep Texas and Houston from going off. But I do think the run game for Tech is going to buckle a little bit. The offense might have been terrific over the last few weeks, but the defensive front was destroyed last week by Kansas State, allowing almost 9 yards per carry. B. John Robinson and Texas rolled into an overtime, a challenge where Oklahoma State's offense will hit some downfield shots, but it's balanced, it's efficient. There aren't a whole lot of negatives. The offensive line is terrific in pass protection. The defense is rock solid on third down conversions. Oklahoma State defensive front will really penetrate and have a lot of success, I think, against Tech's backfield. Donovan Smith and the Red Raider offense will have to get the ball out quick. They will likely, if they don't and they hold the ball, they're going to get sacked a lot. I like Oklahoma State, and I think the numbers might be a little high, but I think that Oklahoma State continues here rolling. And, of course, a game that may be the second most intriguing for me inside the league is Kansas State and Iowa State. Who is playing better than Adrian Martinez for what they're asking him to do? He's doing a tremendous job. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's doing a really good job. Against Oklahoma and Texas Tech, he hit 62% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's yet to throw an interception this year. He ran for 319 yards and 7 touchdowns, 286 yards rushing from Duke's Fawn over 2 games. Kansas State's running the football, doing what they're supposed to do. There's nothing wrong with this Iowa State's defense. It's pretty good against the run. It's not allowing much of anything through the air. It's number 1 in the conference in total defense. It's 3-0 when allowing fewer than 100 yards rushing, and 0-2 when Baylor and Kansas hit the 100-yard mark. So Kansas will get to 100 yards, and they'll have no problems making this a low-scoring grind if they need to. Don't think Iowa State can get a lot of points in this game. So it's going to be about defense, and it's going to be about running game. And Kansas State's got the better run game. Iowa State a little bit better defensively. So I think the Wildcats, protect the football pretty well. If Iowa State can curtail their turnovers and mistakes, this is going to be a competitive game. I think Iowa State's got a really good shot here because of the defense, and we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, it's in Ames, so that's going to be a really good chance. It's a home game. It's a thrilling game. Might be a surprise in this one. I've got some further thoughts on this over at LandryFootball.com. So make sure that you check that out over there. All the games, all the college games, all the conferences, all handled by us at LandryFootball.com. So make sure that you check that out. Also, a reminder to subscribe, like, and share the Landry Football Podcast Network, Big 12 Football and Beyond, and Off the Hook Sports YouTube channel. That's where you can get all of our college content. So make sure that you do that. Enjoy the games. It's going to be a fun week. The Red River rivalry may not mean as much, but it's always fun to watch. But check out that TCU Kansas, the atmosphere in Lawrence. Be sure you watch that game in Ames. That's going to be a very good one. And we'll see if this Oklahoma State team can handle their business at home and continue to look like the best team in the Big 12. A lot will be answered this week. We'll be here to wrap it up for you all next week. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the games.